Mute real quick.
Yeah. If I can find it.
Mute real quick.
Yeah. If I can find it.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Weekend Big Show, powered by Law Dog Sports. I'm Chuck Ramsey, the Law Dog, here with you on a Friday, as we always do. And what a wonderful week of weather it has been compared to the last time we were on the air, and just so much going on in the world of sports. We are glad to be here with you on our YouTube stream. Don't forget, you can listen to this episode and all of our episodes at your convenience on our SoundCloud, Spotify, Amazon, and Apple podcast pages. Also, this video will be preserved on the YouTubes, as Jeremy calls it, for my sake. And then also just get links to all of those on our website, lawdogsports.com, and also our Facebook, Twitter, X, and Instagram. Happy Friday, Jeremy Schroeder, my partner and ruler of the airways. How you been, buddy?
It's been an eventful week being a federal employee.
Man. Yeah, it's now, did you get the email asking what you'd accomplished, 5 things you'd accomplished in the last week?
We all got the email.
Okay.
Yes, I got the email and I answered it. I answered it promptly because I got a lot of stuff done last week.
Because you're a good federal employee.
Well, yeah, because I go to work.
So out of the 5 things, how were 2 or 3 of them hassling innocent passengers?
No. Only about half of those people are innocent.
That's right. There are no innocents. Well, man, kudos to you for dealing with that, and we'll wish you the best of luck in these future times dealing with working for the federal government. But you are the ruler of the airways in our book, and you're what kept me sane while I was in a detail that maybe I should have thought twice about before I took it, being assigned as a police officer at Will Rogers World Airport. But sadly, I was talking to somebody last week, and the airport is considered the pasture for law enforcement. I mean, that's where you go to retire, basically,
Sure.
and plan your retirement. And I ended up leaving before I retired and doing about 1.5 years, I think, in investigations. But one thing about it, Jeremy, is it was never really that. I mean, there were dull times, but I told somebody, I said the other day, I said, we had a sniper out there at one time.
Yeah, we did.
I mean, now I was off. It was the day before I came back to work, but I mean, the police out there had to deal with a freaking sniper,
Oh
and
yeah, I was there.
yeah, just tragic incident right there on the airport. So, when you talk about police officers and public safety and even TSAs, because you're walking around an airport, which is a soft target in a uniform, nothing's guaranteed. And, sadly, we lost Mike Winchester that day. And,
the great punter from the Oklahoma National Championship team in 1985.
Yeah,
Father of one James Winchester.
Father of the greatest deep snapper in the history of football, I promise you.
That's right.
A sad deal, but I mean, that was the thing. And that's something that I think somebody coming from the private sector, particularly in anything that deals with safety. I mean, safety is in the middle of your job title, and then also public safety, law enforcement, fire, paramedics, is the risk presents itself when you least expect it a lot of times. And, hopefully there'll be some common sense used when it comes to protecting our citizens. But anyways, we could go into a whole rabbit hole of conspiracy theories that have been rolling about this week, but let's stay away from that and do our primary focus, which is sports. Jeremy, I'm going to challenge you a little bit here. I want to know your take on the Travis Kelce situation, where apparently he indicated to Pat McAfee that he don't want to go out like that. And apparently Kelce is going to focus himself on getting in the best shape of his life and coming back and leading the Chiefs, being a leader for the Chiefs and leading the Chiefs to another Super Bowl.
Well, good for him. Too bad he didn't focus on being in the best shape of his life before this past season because he was not. If he wants to, I mean, he's got 1 year left on his contract. He wants to come back, have one more really good season. Even 80% of Kelsey is better than 90% of the tight ends in the league. I think if he's in shape, he'll be
Okay.
fine.
I mean, to me, it's kind of past a shape. It's kind of past a fitness thing and delving into the age thing. I mean, yes, he can get back in what he believes is the best shape of his life, but is he really going to be the player he was 3 or 4 years ago?
He
Can
doesn't have to he doesn't have to do the run after catch stuff. He just gotta get to the open spot of the field, pass the markers, and catch a stinking ball and fall down.
Yeah, I mean, with the dink and dunk system they have now, that makes perfect sense.
Well, I don't think there's gonna be as much dink and dunk going forward with Rice and Worthy. They just gotta get Mahomes some time.
Now, will Rasheed Rice stay out from behind the wheel this offseason?
God, I hope so. Hopefully, lesson learned.
The
I mean,
Dallas Tollway will breathe a sigh of relief if he's not out behind the
oh
wheel.
my goodness.
Uh,
Maybe Kelsey restructures, adds a year or so, just to give him cap relief. I
well,
think
and
with the
isn't
new
Mahomes kind of talking about the same thing?
He does it after every season.
Okay.
Actually, and him and Chris Jones are gonna restructure.
Yeah.
See how many guys will actually restructure to, throw some more money at the end of that cap, like Creed Humphrey, these guys on big contracts.
Chris Jones must really like playing for Spagnola. I
Well,
mean, because
yeah, I mean,
he could get
who
out there and make bank.
well, Spags he's fantastic.
Sure.
With the injuries in the secondary this year, kept them afloat with that front seven. They've been
Now, are
good
there reports?
schematically.
Are there reports verified that they're saying that Kelsey was under the weather?
I heard that.
The rumor I heard was that the Mahomeses and the Kelseys went out for dinner night or two before the Super Bowl. You're in New Orleans. I mean, etouffee is kind of a crapshoot anytime you eat it, right? I mean,
yeah. Well,
and by
that's
crapshoot I mean like a gamble, not really.
etouffee, a boudin.
Not the literal, not the literal crap in your shoot.
Well,
But anyway,
anything Cajun is basically it's based on a dare.
yeah. Dan Narva from Michigan checking in, and he beat me to the point. Dig Jeremy's hat. What team is that? It's the OKC Comets upcoming. And what are you sporting, Sir Charles? This is my Clinton Liquor hat that Marty Wandry gave me, and I've got to order some shirts for Law Dog Sports, Jeremy, because first of all, Connor Carr has one coming his way for winning the Fantasy Football League. And then Max Patton and Marty Wandry, I've been saying I was going to get them T-shirts for a long time because they have supported our program so well. And Clinton Liquor is mine. Marty went with a nice little rustic patch there, shows it. But I got to say, the rebranding, and I was thinking the other day, Jeremy, we were driving into the metro area from western Oklahoma, and there's so many Red Hawks on the light poles and the trees along I-40 and everywhere you go. Once the weather turned warm, I guess they decided it was lunchtime. And there's so many. And to me, as cool as this Comets thing might be for Oklahoma City baseball, the Red Hawks was just so fitting.
And they had great uniforms,
They did.
The brick red, the hawk and the circle, the pinstripes. They were great.
Yeah.
And the 89ers had good uniforms.
Sure.
Now that everybody's enamored with throwbacks, which we just called them the uniforms back in the day, and we liked them and there was nothing wrong with them. I thought maybe just bring back the 89ers of the Red Hawks.
I thought so too. I thought Red Hawks was going to be on there. But here's the thing. If you want to lure me in and get me to sign on board, throw out some powder blue, and I can.
Yep.
Powder blue is pretty much going to be my weak spot.
Powder blue. Yeah. Oh yeah. One of the best uniform colors ever. Look at you got your North Carolinas.
Yeah. Love you blue.
Tulane with their powder blue and green. It's fantastic.
Houston rocked the powder blue, even at the middle finger of Bud Adams. So good for them.
The Houston police cars.
Yeah.
City of Houston, powder blue. or Columbia
Dan
Blue, as they
Narva
call
says
it.
too many juleps. Would that be regarding Kelsey, I guess. So,
I want to say that he probably had too many hurricanes at Pat O'Brien's down there,
yeah.
and those will hit you like a sledgehammer if you overdo it.
I don't know if I've ever done an official hurricane.
Hey, you got to go to Pat O'Brien's right there on Bourbon Street.
Now, back in my college days, there was a place up on the north side of Oklahoma City called Leslie's Painted Desert, and it was at Northwest 36th and Chartel, which is now Hipsterville. But it's Iron Star Barbecue now, but it was Leslie's Painted Desert, and they had basically what was a Long Island iced tea called the Painted Desert, and it came out in a goblet. And the colors were just beautiful when you got it. I mean, there were some pastels and some fluorescent colors. And then once you mixed it, it was just this, it was about the color of this cap, you know, and that it really did a number on you. But anyway, so we've got a lot to get to here. Dan Narva, I got carded at Pat's. Well, that's because you're aging in reverse, Dan. I don't know what to tell you.
At Pat O'Brien's, if you could see over the bar in New Orleans, you can drink
Give you
legally.
a drink.
It's like Mexico.
Well, hey, it's that time of year. It's like Mexico. It's that time of year, Jeremy. The Underwear Olympics going on, as they refer to it in slang terms, but it is the NFL Combine. And yesterday, the linebackers and defensive linemen put on their show, and not a bad day for some Oklahoma Sooners. As Ethan Downs, as we were talking about off the air, comes in at 6'3". 6'4", 6'3" and some change, 269, and ran a 4.7. So that will get you drafted for sure.
Oh, it definitely will. 4.69 to be precise.
Okay.
He had pretty good splits. He went almost 10 feet in the broad jump, 4.59 in the shuttle. 10-yard splits were good. Yeah, he's just gotta catch on with the team, and his motor will do the rest.
Yeah, and he's going to be a team guy. We know that. We know he'll, given any amount of time in the league, he'll establish himself as a leader. It's just, at edge rusher, and we talked about this off the air. Edge rusher is so specialized, and I just wonder, if scouts will look at, and I don't know what because here's the thing: you go back all the way to the great Tommy Harris. Tommy was considered maybe the greatest defensive lineman to come out of college in forever. I don't think he really had. I mean, I used to catch grief from non-OU fans that his production really wasn't there. And you can only say a guy's being double teamed so much. Now, we know Tommy Harris was being double teamed a lot.
Oh, yes.
But still, there's those guys who get out there and still make plays. I don't know. You look at production in college, you look at the transition from the Big 12 to the SEC. I think Stutzman kind of sealed his deal. I would have to look at the stats a little closer. I know Ethan did his job, and I know he did what Brent Venables and Miguel Chavis wanted him to do. I don't know what the scouts will say. You have ranking there that listed him?
And I have his stats.
Go ahead.
So 2024 started 12 games. He had 29 tackles, 9 tackles for loss, 3 sacks, 2 pass breakups, and a forced fumble.
So
doesn't seem that impressive.
14 games
in 12 games this last year.
12 starts.
Yes, I think he sat a game.
What's the average on his tackles per game?
Well, he played 12 games. He had 29 tackles. Not very many. 2.
Yeah.
2.5, 3 maybe. He had 29 tackles the year before, 6 tackles for loss. I guess he didn't. These stats are just on the. He had 4.5 sacks in 2023.
Yeah,
and in 2022.
In particular was a great one on on Quinn Ewers.
Quinn Ewers,
which we're proud that he didn't get a taunting flag, but. I think also scouts are obviously going to be a lot smarter than yours truly when they look at it and say, Brent Venables runs a linebacker emphasis on the linebackers in his system. The line does their job and lets the linebackers make plays. That's why, Danny Stutzman was just really, just a game changer as far as stopping the run a lot of times.
Yeah, well, that has been the Stoops Venables defense. That's the story of it. your big guys in the middle, like Tommy Harris, they suck up blockers, keep them getting from the second level, so your linebackers are free to run around and make plays.
Hmm. Yeah. So it is a different concept, scouts, but we'll hopefully be able to look through that.
No one
With
ever really said that about Gerald McCoy, though.
no, and that's kind of where I was going. To me, GK had a lot more production than even Tommy Harris.
Yeah,
Shoot, I thought Dusty Dvorak, until he kind of got a rye of the system, was on his way to a really big collegiate career. And
yeah,
you would have to think if he, you would have to think that his mistake cost him a lot of money in the pros, even though he did have a pro career. He probably would have been a lot more sought after prospect coming out of OU without the baggage, so to speak.
yeah. I mean, he still had a nice NFL career with the Bears.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how many years he played there. I don't off the top of my head, but he was
But
there
wasn't
for
he
a
like
little
a
bit.
third or fourth round pick?
Yeah, he was. He was a
I mean, the way
back
he
then.
played at OU, I think if he keeps his act together, I mean, it's the difference in
Sure.
maybe 4 or 5 years in the league and 10, so
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know. But and I'm by far, I'm just a guy talking to the internet. So, but no, Danny Stutzman runs a 4.5. That's not going to hurt him one bit.
No, not a bit at his size, especially since he's going to play about 240, 245. And another thing we did not mention about Downs, he's about 15 pounds away from playing in the middle of the line. So there may be some versatility with his frame.
Yeah, 270, or at 270, he could put on 10 pounds
Yeah.
probably. I mean, he's got the frame for it. He's not just 6'4", he's a big, wide 6'4". And
Oh
when I
yeah.
stood next to him, I mean, I was like, holy cow.
Well, look at his profile picture on the
Mhm.
NFL website. He's all traps and neck.
He
Just
is. Yeah. Um, did you see the meme that says, what's the picture of the guy looking around the tree and he's kind of rubbing his hands together?
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
and it says, offensive line coaches watching tight ends run bad routes and drop passes.
Hey,
I love
that's how
that.
Lane Johnson ended up a first
Oh,
round draft
yeah.
pick.
Yeah. So Danny Stutzman and, just you mentioned Billy Bowman. I think I came away a little thrown back by his measurements.
Yeah, he's 5'9". You want to, and I'll pull it up right here while we talk about it. But I want to say that he was listed at 5'11" for 4 years at OU,
Oh,
and
sure.
then
Sure he was.
you know you get to
So
the combine and all the warts start coming out.
that brings up the question: if Billy Bowman is 5'9", but was listed at 5'11", would that mean Ante Jones was out there in 98 and 99 at 5'4"?
Maybe. All right, he's listed at 5'10".
Billy,
So if you're 5'9" and under, you're listed at 5'9". If you're a little bit over 5'9", you're 5'10" to 6 feet.
yeah,
That makes sense.
sure, I get that. But that's the thing about the combine is the measurements are what they are, and you won't be getting any grace, so to speak, on that. So defensive linemen yesterday, I saw some big dudes running sub fives. I mean, and that's where we are in this college football world. Is 330 can get out there and put up a five, and that's pretty stunning when you think about it.
If you're over 300 pounds and you run sub 5, you are super athletic. You
Hmm.
are that is amazing. I'm looking at Walter Nolan. They got him listed at number 1. And did he run? I don't think he ran. No,
Yeah.
he didn't. Well, that's not
So
wasted my click.
Did Abdul Carter skip yesterday, or
Let me see. Abdul Carter, is he listed as an edge or a tackle?
he's an edge, I believe.
Okay. Let me go to defense. Abdul Carter, they got him rated at 7, I don't even think he did anything. Yeah, he didn't even get measured. Pro
Okay.
Bowl talent, that's a 7.
Yeah. Well, he showed out in the college playoff, so kudos to him.
Mhm.
I don't know. We've talked every year now for 5-6 years about the underwear Olympics, as we call them, and kudos to the NFL network for steering clear of those camera angles at the end of the 40 dash, because
The Chris Jones 40. No one needed to see that ever.
But it'll be fun over the weekend in spurts to catch, some of the banter because you're there for so many hours and it's so hard to keep up, enthusiasm through some of that. But Rich Eisen has always done a good job with it. But and you're talking about some of the rankings that they had. So Abdul Carter was at a 7, you said?
Yeah, he's they're projecting him as a future Pro Bowler.
And then Billy Bowman was what?
Backup. Hang on, I got to pull that back up. He was 6 something. It wasn't. Let's go back to Oklahoma. There it is. Yeah, they got. Okay. All. God dang it.
So
Okay.
you basically go ahead.
634. So Bowman's projected. I'm gonna have to look at the table. 634, which I'm gonna say is gonna be like an average starter. Yeah, be a plus starter. He'll eventually be a plus starter. So, yeah.
And that's Stutzman or Billy Bowman?
That is Billy Bowman.
Okay. Well,
Stutzman was projected as an average starter.
And then Ethan Downs was special teams or practice player.
Good backup with average.
Or was
backup.
I'm sorry, I don't want to say practice player if that wasn't used in the phraseology.
It was not. No, they had good backup. Average backup or special teamer.
Okay. So, and we've seen this so many times, Jeremy, guys finding the right place. And, I know it doesn't happen that much, but, those 5th and 6th round draft picks, you have no say as to where you're going. You have to wonder if some guys look at it as like, I would almost rather be an undrafted free agent to be able to, maybe pick and choose. But I mean,
that's worked
I'm
out
sure
for a lot of guys. Adam Thielen is one that pops right into my head.
Yeah.
Had a Pro Bowl career with the Vikings. He's doing well down in Carolina.
Yeah.
Cooper Kupp.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. Were any of the Chiefs receivers undrafted? Can't think of any.
Not that I'm aware of, no.
Okay. Well, it is good to be drafted, but obviously you get into those late rounds and you could end up with a bad franchise, so it's hard to say. But
unless you're Brock Purdy and get drafted last and go to the best situation any
Mr. Irrelevant
could ever walk into.
Handed the keys to a Porsche.
Yeah.
But anyways, combine going on this week. That's the 3 OU players that were invited to the combine. So not to reiterate or pound anything into the desk, but I mean, sure are a lot of Texas players in this combine.
Well, I mean, but there haven't been a lot of Texas players at the combine in the last few years, have there?
Well, that would signify what?
Oh my God! Stop it! That they've recruited better. That they've actually developed a couple of guys.
They're back,
they
baby.
Done in the last 10 years.
2 college football playoffs. They're back. Anyways, so on campus in Norman, some big news with the hiring of Jim. Is it Nagy or Nagy?
I'm going to say Nagy, but
yeah,
that's
wasn't there a Cleveland pitcher named Nagy?
Charles Nagy.
Charles Nagy, yeah,
and Chiefs offensive coordinator Matt Nagy.
Yeah, are any relations there?
I don't know.
Okay.
You would think I would have researched this, but I didn't.
It's all right, I didn't. So who cares? But anyways, hired as the general manager for OU football, and it's interesting, Jeremy, because this is the turn that we have talked about. We're getting away from the feel good, program of character narrative that we saw in the first 3 seasons of Brent Venables' tenure as Oklahoma football coach. Now it's business. It has to be, yes. And I'm just going to say this, and I'll let you take off with it. This has to be what Joe Castiglione wanted from the get-go, as far as for the football program once NIL and the portal and everything came in. It has to be where he knew it would need to go, but he may not have latched in Venables if he wouldn't have let him try all of the soul features and things like that.
And that's not going away, but it will be vastly reduced.
Yeah,
there's still going to be the relational
for it, right?
Right. talking to a buddy the other night who's close to the program.
Mm-hmm. Love
The
that.
former OU players jobs program is over.
Yeah.
So
Here's the thing: unless they go out and make their bones and prove themselves
yes,
on a landscape, you don't need to just be throwing salaries at guys because they were former players. Because I'm
No.
telling you, the days of having guys, even some of the great NFL players, they can appear, they can talk to recruits when they're on visits, whatever the case might be. But the days of wowing people with the fact that you had Adrian Peterson here on campus, that's over. It's all about the bag, man.
yeah, you can't miss anymore. You got to get guys in that can play, and bringing Nagy in, who, let's face it, who's evaluated more talent, going to the NFL the last 7 years that he's been the director of the Senior Bowl than him.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
you
he's
talk
seen
about
everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's a fantastic hire. The guy knows how to evaluate talent. Did they bring him in to fire Brent?
Well,
What are we doing?
That's the thing is you take that job as general manager. I'm sure the athletic director will have final say, but I mean, if this guy comes in and sees that the program's just not running in the direction that it should be, he's going to be called upon to either do it or recommend it, right?
Yeah, and they outbid a couple of major SEC programs to get him.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't like, this guy was just out of a job and, looking for work like a couple of the analysts out there. This guy was sought after, and it tells you what the perception is of the Oklahoma football program nationally. They were able to haul this guy in.
Yeah. And that was going to be my follow-up question is, what kind of alarm bells does this hire, send around the conference and around the country? All of them.
All of them. We're back.
Well, I mean, he's going to have a tall task because, as I mentioned, one franchise just straight down I-35 is. I just saw Martini Sark on Coward yesterday, talking about they've got 21 midseason enrollees from their recruiting class. So that's kids that are going to get on campus and get started in the program. I called CJ Nixon's final basketball game for Weatherford High School at home last night. They're still in the playoffs, but they played their final home game. So CJ Nixon's final game on campus at Weatherford High School was last night. And the word I was told, not officially, was that BV wanted him on campus if possible. But CJ wanted to play out his senior year in basketball. And so.
And you can't blame him for that.
No. And you only get one senior year in high school. But
that's right.
Kind of wish Jaden Nickens would have taken advantage of Leipold, getting him up to Lawrence sooner, but whatever. But anyways, no, it's just one of those situations where it's so businesslike. It's going to be so businesslike now. And I know this is going to be I get beaten over the head over talking about the mid-range game in basketball. But probably if somebody was going to beat me over the head is me talking about the NFL just having a free farm system. And it's time to just do away with the whole, quote, student athlete thing. You've got these, you've got these facilities built for football on all these campuses. Make it just something that's located on a college campus. I mean, I don't take away this. Yeah, I don't know. The school's got to make money. I get it. But I mean, make the NFL pitch in too, because it's no longer student athlete. It's just athlete.
And that'll never happen.
No,
it'll never happen. The NFL will never. I mean, they don't even want to pay guys whose brains they've ruined.
Yeah.
You think they want to pay for a farm system that is their main source of players? You think they want to subsidize it?
I mean, baseball's on the hook for it.
Yeah.
Basketball, in essence, I guess, with the G League.
G League, yes. Yeah, they are.
But they're not sponsoring teams in Lithuania or anything. I mean, that's just LeVar Ball. Or Estonia. Did you hear he lost part of his foot?
Yeah, he's got the diabetes.
Man, you talk about stay in your lane.
Oh. Wonder if he's going to make a new big baller brand shoe to fit that foot.
Get that stump version. I'm sorry, diabetes is no laughing matter. I probably got
Diabetes.
my own issues upcoming with that.
Check your blood sugar. Check it
And
out.
there was a comedian I saw when Nate Bargatze had his network special. He brought on a guy that was kind of in the same vein, just a little more energetic. But he was a Southern guy, and he's talking about he's heavy and his dad's heavy. He's like, they're out on a hike, and his dad says, "I think I'm going to have to stop." He goes, "My blood sugar's getting low." He goes, "No, I can look at you and tell your blood sugar." And then he said something about using deodorant, and his friends were saying, you need to get a deodorant that doesn't have aluminum in it, and he was like, "I tried it." He goes, "I realize I need all the aluminum." All right, so Pat Nagy, is it
Jim
Nagy, hired as the general manager at OU football. It'll be interesting, Jeremy, what happens through the spring. I know Sark was on the Pencil Neck show yesterday, lauding the concept that they've played so many playoff games that they opted out of spring football. Ohio State doing the same. So that makes sense. I mean, what are you talking about? A 16-game schedule? If you make a full playoff run, that's a lot of ball.
And it's right, but we're talking 2 weeks of practice.
Well,
I mean, 2 weeks and a scrimmage where they don't really do any kind of tackling or real hitting.
Yeah,
it is 100% because they don't want anybody to see their down the roster guys and start poaching them.
And get real about it is also the thing. Is because
just say what it is.
At the end of the day,
that's right. You don't want to get a bag thrown at your third team guy. You're going to need that guy.
Yeah, exactly. And so, spring football games will go the way of the dodo, and we will be, hearing about semi-practice reports, basically, or whatever's going on for OTAs. It'll be college football OTAs.
Yeah, and just go. I don't care about spring football. It's kind of fun to go out and watch the spring game. It's never entertaining. But it's nice.
But Jeremy, we live in a flyover state, so
it's nice to have a spring tailgate, just to keep keep it in my blood. But the game's never fun. It's usually cold and windy. I don't care for Trace Adkins that much. Honky Tonk Badonka Donk was fun for a minute, but
I don't mean to repeat ourselves, but did we say last week that like a Turnpike Troubadours and Cross Canadian Ragweed concert would fill up Owen Stadium?
It would fill up Owen Stadium. Yeah, it would.
Well, too bad Stillwater lays claim to all that great music. So anyway.
Yeah, I mean, if the A&M spring game would feature one Robert Earl Keen, I'd probably go down there.
Boy, and they could throw Lyle Lovett on there too. He's an avid Aggie. I like Lyle. Now it might not be spring football. He's more of a coffee house type guy, I guess. But
he was a hipster before being a hipster was cool.
He really was, and look what it landed him.
Yeah, and look what it unlanded him.
Well, whatever. It's her loss. She could be living high on the hog in Texas.
Not to get all George Costanza, but she's just got too many teeth.
Dang. Yeah, I saw a tweet the other day where somebody was making her read a tweet about her mouth being too big. Okay, pretty woman. Anyways, hey, still a lot more to come here on the show, and a lot of NBA talk here on the outskirts. But college football, last thing I'll say is, we say it every week. Basically, it's no longer amateurism at all. It's just a business. But maybe Nagy will, be somebody who, like you said, after the years that he was, vital in promoting the Reese's Senior Bowl, maybe he'll kind of get some trends going to where, the NCAA or whatever powers that be will kind of implement some contracts on these NIL deals. It's like
from the chat. Everyone go watch the OU baseball team instead. You're daggone right, Connor. OU Diamond Sports is pretty good this year.
You talk about joining the SEC and it just means more. I think OU baseball got the memo.
Yeah. Still undefeated.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
OU
playing
softball
well
too.
Softball.
They usurped Texas as number 1, I believe.
Yeah, well, that's a shame.
I tell you what's funny is Connard mentioned, baseball, and I follow Connard obviously on Twitter a lot. The A&M fans having a meltdown over some losses early in
But
baseball.
it's early. It's early.
Yeah, but Texas State, you're the number one team. No,
Yeah, there's a
college
lot, and Connor will attest to this. There's a lot of those smaller schools in Texas that field a
Oh
pretty
yeah,
dang good baseball team.
I
Texas
always
State, Dallas Baptist
you stole the team. I was
usually
trying to
has
get
a
that out.
pretty good
Mhm.
baseball team.
UT Arlington,
UT
they
Arlington.
throw out some competition.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's kind of like the Cal State system. You always see those like Pepperdine and Cal State Fullerton.
oh, Fullerton was
Yeah.
was money for years. They
Sure.
were big dogs back in the day. So
And
yeah,
that where Larry Koshel was
it was.
Pepperdine.
It was.
I thought he was at Pepperdine.
Yeah, I think it. Well, Fullerton. It was West Coast, but
Yeah, it was one of those. It was one of those UC schools. They typically would put a good product out there.
well, and so to transition into another topic, we were going to talk about the passing of Enos Seymour, OU baseball coaching legend. Now, did Enos ever win a title?
He won a NJCAA
Okay,
national
but he
championship
didn't
at
win a
Bacone.
national with OU.
No, he did not.
But he
No,
probably kind of had the floor built for Koshel to come in and win in what, 92?
94 is when they won it.
94. They didn't win two under Koshel?
No, they won one.
Okay. They played in a final.
I think that's
Somewhere in there.
correct.
Okay. So the boys from Hammond, Minor Brothers,
The Minor Brothers.
they were huge in that run. But Enos
Oh,
Seymour,
Bucky Buckles, baby.
yeah,
Chip
Enos
Glass.
Seymour, yeah, Enos Seymour. I remember Shackelford being part of some of those teams. Brian Shackelford,
Russ Ortiz,
Mhm.
Chris Redmond.
Yeah,
A lot of guys that played in the league for a lot of years.
for sure.
Was Rich Hills on that squad?
I want to say so. Let's get to some comments real quick. As you mentioned, Connor mentioned OU baseball. Dan Narva, he got stuck with his one-eyed Fiona. Have you heard that Lyle song? Lyle Lovett, I just think of If I Had a Boat. And then also, that's right, you're not from Texas. But and Connor Carr, Texas State will be in a regional and make some noise. Oral Roberts the past couple of years.
Oral Roberts. Oral Roberts has historically been a pretty dang good baseball program.
They really have. And that's the thing. It takes a coach who's got the chops, and then you kind of build that tradition organically. And it really, I mean, even at the higher levels, that's kind of what it is. I mean, so much to the point that Chris Del Conte meets A&M's coach in a graveyard outside College Station. I mean, that's how important the coach is.
So graveyard. Was it a graveyard or a cemetery? There's a difference.
A cemetery, okay.
Graveyard is attached to a church.
Potato. I'm sorry. All right. So, anyways, but rest in peace, Enos Seymour, and great OU baseball coach as well. And he'll be missed by a lot. Back on OU basketball, man, you talk about getting just gutted. The A&M loss stung because of the way they gave up the lead. Then the LSU loss was terrible. But this man, to have a former player for your program and a former player for your rival come in and take the game away from you at Lloyd Noble Center, which I have to say, it looked like a good crowd turnout for
enough to start throwing stuff on the floor after the final.
Yeah. 83-82 is the final. Otega Owe, 28.6 rebounds. Jeremiah Fears, 18 points and 8 rebounds.
Otega Owe went off in the last 10 minutes.
He really did.
5 points at halftime.
What? He scored like their last.
He scored 23 of their last 25 points.
That's what it was. Yeah.
The kid was just caught it. And oh my gosh, it was amazing.
OU outscored the Wildcats 41-40 in the second half, but they were trailing at the break. And I mean, there's talk that Fears got fouled on that last play. I mean, you're not going to get that on a
No.
under 5 second run to the rim, and I'm not even talking about the SEC. That's just where it's at. But I mean, they showed heart, they showed competitiveness, but is this, I mean, Lunardi had them before that final as I think as an 11 seed. I would imagine now they could be one of the first 4 in. Is that the levels?
They're not going to get in. They're not getting in.
Yeah.
By my calculations, they needed to win 4 of their last 6 to get in.
They're 3-7 in their last 10, 17-11. But they did rack up those. I mean, they did rack up those tier 1 wins in the offseason, in the non-conference.
They had quad 1 wins in the non-conference last year and won 20 ball games. They're not going to win 20 this year. They're not getting in.
They travel to Oxford tomorrow. Chris Beard will be awaiting with his Rebels, and then they host Missouri and then travel to Austin for their final 3 in March. So that's the thing is that the Fork in Porter Moser? Are they done off of that?
I think they'd have to be.
Yeah, I mean,
at this point they'd have to be. I mean, they need somebody in there that can functionally coach a new roster every single year.
Yeah. And if trends hold like they have, I mean, when they go on the road, they just get scorched.
And they're going to get hammered in Oxford.
Yeah. SEC, what a season to enter SEC basketball play when basically Bruce Pearl has put together, UNLV 87. And I mean, and then Florida and even OU got the win over Mississippi State. The Bulldogs were ranked 21st, I think, at the time of that victory. But I mean, and Texas is spiraling, but they'll be up to play OU at Austin.
Porter still hasn't beat Texas since he's been at Oklahoma. This is
year
4. Is this year 4? He still hasn't beat Texas. He's 0-9 against Texas.
Yeah.
Or 0-7.
Texas hosts Georgia, then travels to Starkville, and then hosts Oklahoma. They lost that one against Arkansas. And even though Trey Moore went off for 39, I think.
Yeah, and Georgia's no great shakes. They'll get that one. They'll beat Oklahoma. They'll win 2 of their last 3. I don't know what the record is right offhand, but they'll probably get in.
Had it just a second ago. They are 16-12 overall and 13th in the SEC. So
yeah, they're probably not going to get in either.
Lunardi had them the other night as first 4 out. So, and so much of that, Jeremy, also depends on the teams that kind of boost up going into the final week from not just the SEC, but other conferences. So, I mean, Vanderbilt looks like a team that, of course, they've got 12 teams from the SEC making it.
I know.
The
SEC is just a juggernaut conference this year.
It is a terrible year to transition from Big 12 to SEC.
They'll probably get 3. They might get 3 of the 4 1 seeds.
They'll probably be bucking for it. And did you see the half-court shot that Sparty made against Maryland the other night?
I know Dan did.
Dan did, and Scott Van Pelt did too. So that was that's a bad beat, regardless of your gambling side. That was if you're a Maryland fan. But that I've seen. What's funny, Jeremy, is it's so obvious that so many kids are practicing those shots because it has to be at a rate higher than when we were kids.
Oh yeah, well you got those kids at the end of the bench like me when I played ball. Would just go out there and fire up half-court shots after practice.
Well, sure, yeah. But I think the rate has to be even higher than then. But man, I had an assistant coach in high school that could stand 3/4 court and hook shot with pretty decent consistency. Considering the difficulty level, but
that's a skill you should have learned. You could be making $25,000 a night at the the Paycom.
The Paycom, yeah. Find that kid. Well, and that transitions well into our NBA segment. And what do you want to tackle first? I've got 3 highlighted things here, Jeremy. Popovich, Thunder, and scripted league. Which one you want to jump into first?
But we can start with Popovich.
Go ahead.
He's got to retire.
He's done.
He doesn't have any. He does not. How old is he? Is he 80 yet?
Oh, I think if he's not, he's breaching.
He needs. I know that he wanted to keep coaching because he lost his wife a couple of years ago, and he still had fire and passion for it, but his health isn't going to allow him to do it.
He's 76.
76, and that's a 76 with some miles.
Yeah. You know, he was married to his wife since 1976 when she passed in 2018.
Man, 42 years by my. It was at 52 years. That's a lot of years. 42.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of years.
It is.
He's got some life left to live. He just maybe needs to step away. Maybe serve as an advisor, but it's just too much for him at this point.
Mm-hmm. Comments on the YouTube post, Connor Carr vertically challenged Jeremy. Did you see the kid from Arkansas get the 40-inch vertical?
I did.
At the combine?
What's his name? Landon Jones? Is that his name?
I think so. That sounds right.
Yeah, he's had a good combine so far. 40 inches that's NBA level.
There was an Arkansas interior lineman too that was looking like might be moving up the scales. Dan Narva, how about that 8-win Piston streak? Haven't watched them. No FanDuel here, man. I saw the lineup of FanDuel games for this week, and I just thought, man, why aren't you on that yet?
Yeah, we don't have that here. I barely get. I get to watch the Thunder when they're on the TV at the gym.
KSBI.
Yeah, on Friday nights.
Yeah, exactly. No, Popovich. You know, I mean, your legacy's cemented. Don't leave on a high note. And he's
got 5 NBA titles. He's been a great coach for a long time. He's stuck it out with one franchise forever. It's time.
I mean, it's time. And then also, I mean, your franchise that you have helped build is getting ready to transform into something that he never. I mean, it was Larry Brown and then him.
Yes.
So he was part of the tank that got Tim Duncan.
Oh yeah, he was part of the tank that got Tim Duncan.
He was a younger man then.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. Yeah, it's time, and just, you know, bid farewell. You know, don't come back next year for a farewell, you know, tour. Just step out gracefully.
And this is another thing that we need to mention. If Victor Wembanyama's deep vein thrombosis isn't something that he can manage and play with, you're starting over. You're rebuilding.
Oh yeah.
And does he have the energy
without effort?
Does he have the energy to go through a 2 to 3 year rebuild at 76 years old, coming off a stroke? Hey, Steve, welcome in.
Steve Anderson coming in, and Landon Jackson is the correct name of the Arkansas player. Yeah, I mean, that's, you know, Hubie Brown stepped away from the broadcasting booth, 2 weeks ago, and he's 98. I mean,
92. He might as well be 98.
You know what's funny? I remember
doing a decent job at that age too.
Oh, sure. Jack Ramsey did too. You know, that's color commentary on radio is probably got some grace to it for the elderly. Play-by-play, and I'll attest to this, does not. But no, and you know, that's the thing. Pop ain't going to go into broadcasting. I can tell you that. He doesn't have the personality. Doesn't want to have the personality. But you know, just go enjoy life, and that's all any of us can do. But so the Spurs are in a tank, and they accomplished that pretty well the other night, I think, with a loss to New Orleans or last night. And Zion got his first triple-double, I think.
Zion?
Yeah. I want to say.
What did he have? 10 points, 10 rebounds, and 10 cheeseburgers at halftime? Hey-o!
Wow, body shame much? No, against the Suns, he had 27 points, 11 assists, and 10 rebounds. Who was it that they
And
must
he
have beat the
pulled a
Spurs.
hamstring celebrating, huh?
They must have beat the Spurs the night before that.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Let me pull up the schedule.
Um, yeah, no, Spurs lost to the Rockets. That's who it
Okay.
was. 118-106. That was on Wednesday night. Man, Jeremy, your Oklahoma City Thunder, they beat Brooklyn 129-121. One of the things that we were talked about in this run that they've had maintaining the number one seed in the West is that they can defend you well. And I would say giving up 121 to Brooklyn isn't necessarily defending well.
Yeah, it's part of the ebbs and flows of the basketball season. They come off a home road back to back. They had to go to Minnesota and then come back to Oklahoma City and play Minnesota.
Losing overtime.
Yeah, I don't understand that scheduling quirk,
Mm-hmm.
but
Yeah, that
teams
was
have
odd.
found a way to get points on the board against them that they're going to have to tighten down. Luckily, they're talented enough offensively that they can mitigate a lot of that. But this not time of the season you want to be, showing holes in the defense.
No, mitigating issues should have been handled before the All-Star break. But,
Yep.
I mean, the playoffs are a different animal. I'll say this. I mean,
Yeah,
let's
there's no
see.
back-to-backs in the playoffs.
No, Zion and Luca going to have wing eating contest at half court instead of a tip off. That's from Connor. He's
Luka doesn't have an eating problem. He likes to drink beer and smoke hookah.
hookah. Yeah. Hitting those Dallas hookah bars.
That's right.
So they beat the Nets Wednesday night, and they are at Atlanta tonight. Trae Young kind of clicking along for a team that isn't doing a whole lot, but then travel to San Antonio and then host the Rockets. And I mean, two matchups back to back versus Denver, and that's on March 9th and 10th, and it looks like they're both at home.
Who, Atlanta? Atlanta is in the play-in
They are
right now. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they're 21 and a half games out of first. They're 27 and 32 overall. 5-5 in their last 10, but they are in the play-in, as are the wonderful Chicago Bulls, which I don't understand how Billy Donovan still has a job. He didn't want to be a part of a rebuild, so he's going to go to Chicago, where they're just they're happy with mediocrity there.
Well, I mean, I'm going to get beat up on this, but I mean, DeMar DeRozan was kind of their star player, and we all know what his key to the game is.
Well, and Zach LaVine, and they traded him, so they got Kobe White. I can't even think of who's on their roster at this time.
Well, back on the Thunder, I guess Shannon Sharp was talking smack about if the Thunder play the Lakers, it'd be Lakers in 5. I think Stephen A. Smith was talking about SGA not getting the calls in the playoffs that he gets during the regular season. I think Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, his game is, he can get to the bucket, but he is so money in the mid range. Also, off the dribble, he's going to get his. He's proven throughout his career he's going to get his. It's like Charles Barkley says, it's the other guys who's going to step up.
And lately, it's been Ron Wiggins, who's been really good.
Sure.
You got another All-Star on that roster. Chet's finally coming back to form, and a lot of that second night of that back-to-back, Chet didn't play, so they go from having a guy in the middle that can swat any shot to not having that guy.
Yeah,
and they're still trying to learn how to incorporate him into the offense after playing so long without him. This is kind of like, when you see a good team poach a star player at the trade deadline, and there's that 2 or 3, 4, 5, 6 game window where they're 2-4, 3-3, because they're trying to learn how to incorporate that guy into the offensive defensive scheme.
What are what would be the potential first round matchup for the Thunder?
Let's see. So 7 plays 10. So you have Golden State, Sacramento. So
Mhm.
the winner of that is the 7 seed. So
Phoenix is
let's
currently out.
yes. So
Wow.
let's say Golden State wins that. They're the 7 seed. Minnesota plays Dallas. I can't even handicap that because those teams are
Well, I mean,
down
you have to
to
favor Minnesota, right? I
right.
mean,
But I mean, if you look across their splits, they're the
mhm,
same damn team.
yeah.
So let's just say Dallas wins that. And
Mhm,
they're what they play. So they're the 8. So
mhm,
they could be Dallas or Minnesota. It could be
yeah.
Golden State. It could be Sacramento. It could be Phoenix. I don't
I'm
anticipate
just
Phoenix.
I'm
They're
going to
three and
say
a half.
this, and
Phoenix is 3.5 games out of the play-in.
yeah. If it's Golden State, I hate to break it to you, buddy, but it's a scripted league, and it's
Yeah,
been clear. The media has driven the narrative that the Jimmy Butler addition to Golden State and Steph goes off for 56 last night. Um, it's been driven that the media and the league want a Lakers Warriors Western Conference final. If unless they're on separate side of the bracket or same side of the brackets, but
you think Oklahoma City is they won the West last year. Well,
yeah.
they were the 1 seed.
Hmm.
They've been on national TV, I think, 3 times this season.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we get to watch the Lakers all the time. Get to
Hmm.
watch 40-year-old LeBron stumble around on defense and cherry pick on offense.
Yeah. The
Now
only
they're a little more compelling because they have Luka.
the only teams that can throw a wrench in it to me are Denver and Oklahoma City. They have to figure out a way. Dallas,
Don't sleep
Dallas
on
won't be-
Houston.
Yeah, that's true. I mean,
I don't understand how the Grizzlies are 38-20 and sitting in the 2 seed. I don't understand that.
yeah, it's they're I got two words for you, Desmond Bain.
Yeah, because it's not Ja Morant.
No, it is not.
He
It's
has not
Desmond
had a
Bain.
great season.
Yeah. All right. So I call it a scripted league, and I just think the narrative is being driven that they want to see Steph and LeBron and Luca and Jimmy and everybody else in that cast of characters faced off in a
We
full West Coast time frame conference finals.
because we've had a small market team win the championship this decade. Milwaukee.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, we don't want that again. That's
Was
just
that a
too
bubble championship? No, that was
no. That was
Lakers won the bubble.
the Lakers were the bubble gangsters.
Yeah.
It's not real. It
Well,
doesn't count.
and I mean, so with Dallas, I mean, if AD they're sitting at 9. If Davis did come back, of course it's an oblique strain. I'm sure that's going to mean he won't be back.
Man,
How are the Kings still in the play-in with
I have
De'Aaron
no
Fox?
idea. Who
I
did they
guess the
get for?
bonus
Oh, they got Levine, right?
is that who they picked up?
Hang on, I'm going to their roster right now. Let's see. They've got
They got DeMar DeRozan.
Jay Crowder. Well, he's still in the league. They got DeRozan, Markel Fultz,
Ooh,
Zach Levine,
yeah. So
Dougie McBuckets, former Thunder legend Dougie McBuckets, and Jonas Valanciunas.
and then Malik Monk. So
Yeah.
I'm calling scripted league right now, Jeremy. I love your Thunder. I love what they represent. I love the way they play, but I don't see the powers that be allowing them to advance.
And that's the problem with the NBA because they I would not put it past that league to throw a wrench in it like that just because and you're going to completely miss out on the joy of watching that team have joy playing together, which
Yeah.
we've missed all year because they love
Yeah.
playing ball together. It's a fun product. It's great to watch. But no, I got to watch past his prime Steph and 40-year-old
We got to
LeBron
watch a
and
bunch of dudes stand
fat
around.
Luca.
Yeah, I mean it's just stand around and get me the ball, and one
And
player
watch
might dribble drive.
Draymond Green, who's a great screener. He just runs around and bumps into people.
Mm-hmm. Connor Carr sent us a tweet just 9 minutes ago with pictures of the Navy baseball team's Jolly Roger uniforms. So
Oh, I bet those are fantastic. I got to pull that up.
fear the bones. What was the?
Ooh,
Oh, did you see?
those give me great like Pirates vibes, like the old
There's
school
something else.
Pirates.
Speaking of bones, the Colorado tweet about their baseball team, where they say how many bones. What was it? Was that before they played at A&M in a festival?
Yeah, they said that there's how many bones in the human body, and one more when you watch the Colorado baseball. Oh my God!
Oh,
Stop.
Lord. Yeah, I think Connor might have shared that with us. So,
Mhm.
anyways, hey, real quick poll question as we look to get out of here in just a bit. But, you know, like I mentioned, NBA, I mean, now's the time when it gets interesting. So we'll get to see what happens. I'll be hoping and praying that your Thunder win a championship, Jeremy.
Me too.
Yeah.
I want to go to a parade.
No kidding. I mean, it would be so awesome to go down Robert S. Kerr, you know, in a parade. Would they do it on Kerr?
No, they'd have it out there by the zoo and the.
Yeah. All right.
The
So we had a poll
Omniplex.
question by the zoo, the Softball Hall of Fame.
Mhm.
We had a poll question, popped it up just the other day. What's the worst sports movie of all time? Let us know your take. And I kind of stipulated no sequels, and that confused a few because my reasoning was Major League 3. Because
Yeah, that was terrible.
it was terrible. But I listed Any Given Sunday, Draft Day, The Babe, and any other. And so far at the end of the poll, I think we have 8 minutes, an hour and 8 minutes left, Jeremy. The Babe is leading 44% to 22% for Any Given Sunday and other. Draft Day is not on that list very high, 11%. And then because Marty Wandry mentioned that he liked Draft Day. So, Draft Day out of that list is probably the least of the bad ones, but man, anytime Costner's doing something, I'm just, you know, I mean,
Unless it's Bull Durham.
well, I mean, that would be on the greatest sports movies. I mean,
Right up there with the replacements.
Kevin Costner in the last 15 years is not Kevin Costner, you know. But what are some other terrible sports movies? I'm going to throw out something here that I may turn into a short, but just to say it here, Jeremy, and clear the air, I've never liked Hoosiers.
Yeah, you've got something wrong with you.
You have to think of the time, Jeremy. I was coming off the heels of really ingraining myself in my first NCAA tournament in 1983, and Bob Knight, without a shot clock, stalled against Billy Tubbs and Wayman Tisdale in the 83 tournament. So I hated Indiana basketball from that point on. And then, you know, the whole Steve Alford thing with Keith Smart. I was Ronnie Cycli all day on that one. And I just wasn't going to indulge in anything that said Hoosiers.
You know, you
And I'm
left
sorry, Gene
out.
Hackman.
And I'm going through Bleacher Report's list of 50 worst sports movies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, The Fish That Saved Pittsburgh.
Oh, that was Dr. J.
The Legend of Bagger Vance.
I never watched it, but I just assumed automatically it was bad.
Gus.
What was Gus?
Gus tells the story of head coach Don Knotts, who signs a football-kicking mule from Yugoslavia to turn his team torches around. Any Given Sundays on
Well,
the list?
I'll say this: there's sports movies, and then there's movies that are just silly and involve sports. I mean, to me, Gus sounds like something they just realized we got to get Don Knotts in a vehicle. You know.
Now, a lot of these movies on here, like Stroker Ace, really? Six Pack? Come on, guys.
Yeah, I mean,
Ready to Rumble.
I mean, NASCAR's not really even a sport, so can you go at him on that?
How about Summer Catch?
Oh, was that the Freddie Prinze Jr. minor league baseball thing?
That is Eddie.
Who was the female lead in that? Was that his future wife?
I don't think that was Sarah Michelle Gellar. I want to say it was Jessica. It was Jessica Biel.
Yeah. Okay.
Necessary Roughness. That was a bad movie. I mean, I
Was that
like it, but
Was
it's
that
a
the
bad
70s
movie.
one with Burt Reynolds?
Necessary Roughness was the Scott Bakula vehicle with Hector Elizondo, Kathy Ireland, Manu the Slender, Sinbad. Come on, man.
I guess I'm getting it confused with Unnecessary
Texas,
roughness.
the Texas State football program is given the death penalty, and they have to field a team of walk-ons and misfits to compete.
Was that a remake basically of another movie from
I
the
don't think
70s?
I don't think so.
North Dallas 40, that's a great one.
Oh God, the Scout, that was bad.
Which one was that? That
Albert Brooks, Brendan Fraser.
oh man. That's Hall of Fame bad. Steve Nebraska, wasn't that his name?
Yes. How about Eddie?
Oh, was that Whoopi Goldberg coaching
Yes.
basketball?
Yes.
Air Up There was bad.
Oh God.
Kevin
Yes.
Bacon.
Yes, that was terrible. Oh my
You
God,
think
what
they
is
took
this
that
movie?
sketch- Huh?
Matilda, the boxing kangaroo.
Oh.
Bench
Yeah.
warmers.
You know, my boys love that. Is that David Keckner and
It's David Spade.
oh yeah. Rob Schneider. Yeah, that's
John
pretty bad.
Heater, Schneider, Nick.
What's the one what's the one with David Keckner where it's like the scary movie type sports movie.
I know what you're talking about, and it's awful.
Um
The guy's name is ACL tear, and he tears his ACL.
and the daughter's dating all the players.
Johnny B. Good's on here. How dare them?
I never
The
once Anthony Michael Hall kind of reached
Yeah.
manhood, I was kind of out.
yeah, but RDJ was in that. Samuel L. Jackson was in it.
Johnny B. Good probably was the first expose that got people looking at SMU football.
Jim McMahon had a cameo.
Yeah.
Oh God, The Cutting Edge. Fever
that
Pitch. Never watched that.
Is that the serious skating one?
Yes.
Okay.
So the rookie's on here with
Which one?
Quaid.
People like that one, don't they?
Yeah.
I
Over
never,
the
I
over
never
the
took
top.
time to watch it.
Over the
Oh.
tops on this list.
Was that the arm wrestling movie with Sly?
Yes.
That's now, there's a different category. What I put up was truly bad movies. There's some that are just bad but are awesome. You
Like
know?
Caddyshack 2.
Was that the one with Jackie Mason Jr.?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes, Jackie Mason and
Oh,
Ladybugs is on here. How dare they? That's a Rodney Dangerfield movie.
would you classify Little Giants as a bad sports movie?
No, because it was aimed at kids.
It's Ed O'Neill.
Joanna Man was a terrible movie.
See, and I almost listed that, but I really thought about the Twitter repercussions that we could be drawing based on listing us.
The Slugger's Wife.
Oh, which one was that?
I want to say DB Sweeney was in that.
Now he was in the skating movie, wasn't he?
Yes. Yeah.
Cutting
the-
Edge.
The Fan with De Niro and Wesley Snipes. Truly just awful movie.
Yeah, no, but the Babe was truly awful. John Goodman just really bad in that, which he's been bad in basically everything but The Big Lebowski. No, I take that back. He was great. He's great in Coen movies. He's not good in anything.
Yeah, I was gonna say, "Oh brother, where art thou?" He
Raising
was,
Arizona.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Rocky 5 is on this list.
Is that
that's
the one
where
with Tommy Morrison?
Yes. it
Yeah.
was.
That's
truly
what I
bad.
missed.
And the number one worst sports movie all time, as ranked by Bleacher Report.
Yeah.
Mr. 3000, starring the
Bernie
late,
Mac.
fantastic, great Bernie Mac.
Man. But sometimes when you're that stand-up comedian trying to make your way into movies, I mean, you'll obviously take those scripts.
I guess so.
I don't know. I mean, I thought he was great in the Ocean's movies.
He was. He was
He
so
was great
good.
in Friday. I know that.
I loved his sitcom. He was.
I need to go back and
funny
check
dude.
that out because I see clips of it and it sounds like it was hilarity. I don't think I was in a position where I was catching much sitcom stuff when he was doing that. But so the Babe wins our poll, and then a few comments, for some other stuff. But I mentioned, Connor Carr mentioned that the no sequels thing kind of had him up, and he had not heard of Major League 3.
Ooh, that's
And,
terrible.
What was it? Major League 3 back to the minors.
Yes. They brought Haysbert back and the guy that played Tanaka, and then
And Corbin
got back
Burnson.
Corbin Burnson, of course, because he was just looking for work in between the last two Major League movies, and when he played Sean's dad on Psych.
Yeah. Wasn't
Which
he
is-
Wasn't he the general manager of the Twins in that role?
I think so.
And then, but you know who we did get out of Major League 3?
Hmm.
Walton Goggins.
Walton Goggins.
Walton
Look at
Goggins
that.
came out of that. He was the pitching phenom or the pitching prospect.
Yep.
Had such an attitude, or no, hitting prospect. Walton Goggins of what's that?
Fallout.
Not Longmire, but what's the other one?
Oh,
Justified.
Justified.
Yeah.
He also played Baby Billy.
He was in Vice Principals too with Kenny
If
Powers.
I know you're too old to play the video games, but the Fallout TV series is, I think it's on Prime, is good.
The Fallout.
It's called Fallout. Yeah.
Okay. And what are we looking at? What's it about?
It's a TV show. It's a post-apocalyptic.
Is it Walton Goggins?
Walton Goggins is in it.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, he's been a heck of an actor, and I particularly liked his role on Sons of Anarchy.
See, I never watched Sons of Anarchy.
He played a transvestite on Sons of
Lord.
Anarchy, and one of the bikers had a fixation on him, and I used to tease all my homophobic coworkers at my former employee about what enjoying they were crazy about that show. So I said, well, you're crazy about Walton Goggins in drag then.
There you go.
No, I'm not. Shut up. But anyways, so bad movies, bad sports movies. Jeremy gave us a great list there of those, and then we also had our poll question, which, as I mentioned, was The Babe on the Bleacher Report list?
You know it was, but it was in like the middle of it.
Okay.
It wasn't towards the top.
What was the number one again?
Mr. 3000.
Oh wow, that's a hard one to put on Bernie Mac. I mean, there's so many other ones that are really, really bad. And
Yes.
and I'm not trying to go soft on him because he's deceased, but I mean, at the end of the day, there's other ones like Any Given Sunday that they truly meant to try to be good, and it's just awful.
Exactly.
I mean, that's to me and that was the thing, and I said this off the air. It's one thing to be bad on your own, but then you throw in Oliver Stone trying to throw in his 2 cents on sports, piss off.
Right. Yeah. The eyeball bouncing across the turf was, I'm done. This is stupid.
Yeah, it was dumb. And I guess, did that kind of boost Jamie Foxx into the stratosphere a little bit?
Yeah, I think so. He'd been in a few things, but that was the first starring vehicle.
So how did they shoot that whole movie without showing the lifted boots that Pacino would have been wearing just to be, neck high? She got a grass.
That was the beginning of him just cashing checks.
Oh yeah.
He was unserious after that.
Yeah, he knew he would have some child bride eventually to spawn his child and have to pay for that.
So yeah, The Babe was ranked 10th.
Yeah, it was bad. And you think about this, Jeremy, in the early 90s, people were on board for just about anything sports related. I mean,
I can't believe the program wasn't in there.
Because it's great. Because really, the program was a foretelling. I mean, that's the reason it's not on there.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
It was too much truth involved. All right, well, let's start getting ready to wrap up here. And as we mentioned, kudos to Gene Hackman and rest in peace. So many great roles that guy was in. And
favorite Gene Hackman role?
Huh?
Favorite Gene Hackman role?
Mississippi Burning.
Yeah, he was great.
He was great in Unforgiven too.
He was great in Unforgiven. But that's the thing. Gene Hackman, having him in your movie just makes the movie better.
Oh yeah, he brought the A game to anything that they threw at him,
What was the movie with him and Will Smith? Dang it. Why can't I think of that right now?
Was it the one where he was national security?
It wasn't national security. It was oh my gosh. It was a really good movie.
Security threat or
hang on.
I want to say it was national security, but
It was Enemy of the State.
enemy of the state. Okay.
I
Yeah,
mean,
that was some decent viewing. I'll give
that was
Will
good.
Smith credit on that.
And he was good in Hoosiers. I don't care what you say.
I, okay.
I don't know why I have such a soft spot for the replacements, but he's in it and he was really good in it.
Yeah, I mean that's not that's a quality movie.
Man. Oh, Lex Luthor. Superman movies.
Yeah. Also, what was the other one? Oh,
The French Connection.
Well, French Connection. The greatest role he ever did, if you want to get real about it, the hermit in Young Frankenstein.
Yes. The one time he ever really did comedy.
Yeah, and just killed it. I mean,
Yeah, he was that, and he was uncredited. He just wanted to give it a shot, and he was great.
That's such classic comedy. And
United States Marine, 2 Oscars. What
was
a
he in Bat
life and
21?
career. Yes.
Bat 21 was a good one.
Yeah, he was in he was in so many good movies.
Mhm.
81 credits, and
Yeah.
you probably couldn't name 2 bad ones.
No, and he also was parodied on South Park. Hackman.
Hackman.
I think he took on like a Roboto type persona to fight Christopher Reeves, who was I won't go into it. It was bad, but they referred to him as Hackman.
I'm sorry. I can name one bad movie he was in. Loose Cannons with Aykroyd.
You know, I saw Aykroyd paid a tribute to him, and I couldn't think of what it was. When was Loose Cannons released?
1990.
What was the Conrad Carr says, "Welcome to Mooseport." You know, really, he provided the only entertaining part of the Royal Tenenbaums to me.
I always forget that he was in the Royal Tenenbaums.
Everything else was crap except for his parts. That shows you the actor that he is right there, because that movie was total crap except for the Gene Hackman parts. Everything else,
it's artsy, and
it sucked.
You are not, so you didn't get it.
No, I can get down with some art. I don't have to just have explosions and fast cars.
Listen to this cast of Loose Cannons: Hackman, Aykroyd, Dom DeLuise.
That's what
Ronnie Cox, Nancy Travis. Let's see, Robert Prosky, David Alan Grier.
Oh yeah, he was probably that was on the heels of In Living Color. He was probably just looking for a role.
Sure.
Now Mississippi Burning for me. Did I mention Conrad said welcome to Mooseport?
Red Tide, Crimson Tide.
Crimson Tide. That was
what a movie.
Yeah. Chuck thinks finger painting is art. Yeah. That coming from an Arkansas kid. Yeah. Go ahead. All right, let's start making our way out of here. Jeremy, 14 years ago today, I saw on the KREF Twitter page, Sterling Shepard committed to the University of Oklahoma. And what a player he was. And really still out there getting it done. He's like where was he this last season?
It's with Tampa.
Tampa, yeah, playing with Bake, and
sitting on the couch, and they gave him the call.
Yeah, still a productive receiver. But I remember, think about that class he came out of at Heritage Hall. Who was the bigger name that people were talking about?
Was it Welker?
It was Barry Sanders Jr.
Barry Sanders Jr.
Who went to Stanford and did absolutely nothing. And Sterling Shepard goes to OU and changes the whole. Basically, if you want to get real, got the ball rolling. Because was he there before D.D. Westbrook?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think they crossed over a year.
Yeah. But he kind of laid the foundation for that transition into Muleshoe, right?
Just his game against Tennessee, and then his game against Alabama in that Sugar Bowl. He was there because he was a freshman against Bama.
I think
that was 2013 season. So 13, 14, 15, 16. Yeah, he crossed over with, he had because that was Trevor Knight. The next year was Trevor Knight, and
I knew he played in that big game at Knoxville.
Yes. And
caught the winning touchdown, didn't he?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and that was a fantastic catch. He also had that down the sideline where he took three hops, stayed in
Yes.
bounds, and got in the end zone.
Yeah. Connard says, I appreciate good chainsaw art. Well, if you can carve a bear out of a block of wood with a chainsaw, you do get my respect. So,
Amazing.
and it seems like I've said that on this show before, Jeremy. I want to say that phrase has been uttered by me. So,
Yep.
Anyways, Sterling Shepard, great commit and great pickup for OU football, and just a lot of stuff. What do you got going on the weekend?
Well, let's see. Gonna do some groceries, maybe Home Depot. Don't know if we'll have time.
Home Depot, you got dad projects going?
No, that was a joke from old school. No, we're gonna do some groceries, and I think the wife just wants to hang around today and relax. Which I'm totally good with. I'm tired.
Well, it's beautiful weather. I got out and played some golf on Monday, and
Lucky.
man, I was bound up in the lower back starting out, but I kind of loosened up. We played an extra 9, and I got to say the last 9 was way better than the first 18. So,
Got to hit those heated seats on the way over.
oh, I did, and that's the thing. I had the back. I don't know what I did. We drove into Norman on Sunday, and then by the time Sunday night rolled around, I was kind of stoved up. But fun time out on the golf course. I'll hopefully, if the wind's not bad Monday, I can make it back out there. But you know, I mean, that's the thing about Oklahoma. We were, -5 7 days before that, and then I think it got up to 81 on Monday when I was coming home from the golf course.
Yeah, I know. I walked outside and started sweating. I'm like, what is this nonsense?
And here's the thing: for a fat guy like me, the transition from hoodies and fleeces, there's no in between for me between big baggy t-shirts and big baggy sweatshirts. So I've got to figure out a fitness plan.
Well, I'm your guy if you need that.
You are, huh? Well, I was hoping to be your neighbor before long, and you could kind of wake my ass up in the mornings.
Get you over there to the health club. You can see Dino.
Dean Lindsay at Stretch of Norman. That's who I need to go see.
There you go.
That's where I need to be. All right, let's get out of here. He's Jeremy Schroeder. I'm Chuck Ramsey, the Law Dog. This is Law Dog Sports, the Weekend Big Show. Listen to us at your convenience on our SoundCloud, Spotify, Amazon, and Apple podcast pages. This video will also be uploaded to our YouTube page. It's been live, so you can catch it there. Thanks for everybody chiming in. Connor Carr, Steve Anderson, Dan Narva, and probably some others. And be sure and invite your friends to subscribe to the Law Dog Sports Podcast on YouTube. Follow us on social media, Facebook, Twitter, X, and Instagram at Law Dog Sports. You can get links to all of those at lawdogsports.com. Be safe out there. Don't text and drive, and sure don't drink and drive. And we'll talk to you next week.